The acrid sting of antiseptic seared my nostrils, sharp as a blade, as I lay curled on the hospital bed. My eyelids drooped, heavy with exhaustion, each breath pulling at the raw incision carved into my abdomen. The sheets beneath me were sterile white, icy to the touch, leaching what little warmth remained in my frail body. The doctor had just finished his rounds, his voice muffled through a surgical mask. "Ms. Walker, the surgery went well, but recovery won't be easy. You'll need someone to care for you." My chest tightened at his words, but I managed a weak smile. "Thank you, doctor. I understand." Alone in the sterile silence, I reached for the phone on the bedside table, my trembling fingers cold as frost. The screen glowed to life, and I dialed James's number, my son, each beep of the dial tone hammering at my fragile nerves. When he answered, his voice carried a faint edge of irritation I knew too well. "Mum, what is it? I'm in the middle of something." My throat was parched, but I forced the words out softly. "James, I just had surgery. The doctor says I'll need help for a few days." His response came fast, clipped. "Oh God, Mom, I told you I'm out of town on a critical business trip. They need me here." The excuse felt like a slap, his words racing to end the call. "You're out of town," I echoed, my voice barely a whisper, my heart sinking like a stone in dark water. "When will you be back?" "No idea. 3 days, maybe a week. Just hire a nurse. I'll send money if it's too much." Then, with a curt, "Mum, I have to go," the line went dead, the cold beep echoing like a final betrayal. The room fell into a suffocating silence, broken only by the relentless ticking of the wall clock, each second a needle in my chest. Desperate for distraction, I opened Facebook, where a glaring red notification burned my eyes. Sophie, my daughter-in-law, had posted a saccharine collage. "Happy birthday to the best parents in the world." The photos showed her beaming, arms linked with her parents in a lavish banquet hall, chandeliers glittering like frozen stars, tables groaning under towers of seafood and decadent delicacies. My fingers scrolled, each image tightening the knot in my chest. Then, in the 7th photo, half hidden in the corner, I saw him. James, in a crisp suit, raising a champagne glass with a polished grin. My son, who claimed to be on an urgent business trip, was toasting Sophie's parents. The lie crashed over me like a glacial wave, freezing my blood, slicing my heart with a poisoned edge. Memories of the past decade flooded back, years of quiet sacrifice, of pinching pennies to send James money for their mortgage, scrubbing floors until my hands bled to help them buy a car, skipping my own medical exams so their son Leo could attend private tutoring. My coat, threadbare after 8 winters, hung in my closet, untouched, because I couldn't justify replacing it. I'd given everything, and now I lay alone, debating whether I could afford a nurse, my son's neglect a bitter reward. Tears burned my eyes, but I bit my lip, refusing to let the sob escape. A nurse entered, her voice gentle as she changed my dressing. "No family today? Isn't someone supposed to be with you?" I forced a hollow reply. "He's busy with work." Her skeptical pause and casual mention of another patient's devoted family stung deeper than the antiseptic. The image of James's champagne toast haunted me, his lie a cruel echo in my skull. I dialed his number again, my voice trembling as I tested him. "Danny, could you grab some brownies from Greenleaf on your way back? You loved them as a kid." His reply was dismissive. "Mum, I'm out of town. Those are just sugar. I'm not a kid anymore." The call ended abruptly, his impatience a final blow. Sophie's call came next, her voice dripping with false concern. "Mum, how are you? James is stuck on this project, but we'll visit soon. Need food sent over?" I cut her off coldly. "No, thank you. The nurse is enough." I hung up, the silence heavier than ever. Then came a knock. Carol, my neighbour of 40 years, stood in the doorway with a thermos of soup and a look of fierce love. As I broke down, pouring out the betrayal, her anger blazed. "Maggie, you've given them everything, and they leave you here to rot. This ends now." Her words ignited something long buried, a resolve to reclaim my dignity, to stop letting their neglect define me. For the first time, I saw a path forward, one where I wouldn't be the only one holding this family together, only to be discarded when I faltered. A fire sparked in my chest, fueled by Carol's fierce loyalty. "You're right," I said, my voice steady despite the ache. "I can't let this go anymore." My fingers tightened around hers, drawing strength from her unwavering support. The years of betrayal, the lies, the sacrifices, they crystallized into resolve. I'd document everything, every call, every excuse, every polished performance. Bank statements, transfer records. The mortgage payments, the car I helped buy. It would all be laid bare. Carol's eyes gleamed with approval. "There's the Maggie I know. You've never been anyone's doormat." She thumped her chest lightly. "I've got your back." Her words were a lifeline, pulling me from the loneliness that had threatened to drown me. In the days that followed, I played my part, resting when Emma, the nurse, instructed, smiling politely. But beneath the surface, I was gathering evidence. Each time James or Sophie called, I tapped the record button, capturing their hollow promises. Emma noticed the change, commenting that my eyes had regained their sharpness, their focus. One grey afternoon, the hospital door swung open. James and Sophie entered, arms laden with fruit baskets and sleek vitamin packets, a staged display of care. James's hair was mussed, dark circles smudging his eyes. "Mom, I finally made it back," he sighed dramatically, dropping the gifts onto the table. "That trip killed me, non-stop meetings." Sophie flashed a smile so bright it felt rehearsed. "He worried about you every night, Maggie." She plucked an apple from the basket, slicing it with a paring knife, playing the perfect daughter-in-law. I leaned back, my expression unreadable, watching their performance unfold. "Good to have you back," I said coolly. "Work's important, but don't burn out." James seized the chance to steer the conversation to safer ground. "Exactly, Mum. The moment I wrapped up, I rushed here." Sophie chimed in. "Maggie, you've lost weight. Take those supplements, it's important." Their concern was a thin veneer, and I was done swallowing it. I let the silence stretch, then struck. "A few days ago, I saw something on social media. Sophie, was that your parents' birthday party?" The room froze, the air slicing like a blade. James's forced exhaustion faltered. Sophie's smile cracked. They exchanged a nervous glance. James recovered first, stammering, "Oh, that?" I just passed through. Still a work trip, mostly. Sophie jumped in, her words too quick. "It was planned ages ago. We didn't want to disappoint my parents. James was nearby for work, so he stopped by. You get it, right?" Their lies were flimsy, scraping at my raw heart. I held James's gaze, my voice ice cold. "Then why lie and say you couldn't come back?" The question cut through their charade. James's smile vanished, replaced by irritation. "Mum, why are you harping on this? We're family. We're here now, aren't we?" Sophie softened her tone, deflecting. "Don't stress, Maggie. Your health matters most." But I wasn't paranoid. I saw them clearly now. Their dismissal stung, but their lack of guilt burned deeper. They left soon after, mumbling excuses about work, fleeing like thieves. A tear slipped down my cheek, but this grief was different. Hardened, resolute. On discharge day, James and Sophie arrived, their presence mechanical. James tossed my suitcase into the trunk with a careless thud. Sophie fussed over her cashmere coat, barely glancing at me. The car ride was silent, their indifference suffocating. At home, the house was a mess. laundry piled high, snack wrappers strewn about. That night, their voices pierced the wall. Sophie's tone was venomous. "Your mum's too much. She acts like we owe her our lives. My parents raised me. Am I supposed to drop them for her?" James hissed back, "Keep it down." "If she hears, it'll be a whole thing." Sophie scoffed. "She said she'd cover the mortgage. Now she's always got an issue." Their words gutted me. I was a burden, an obstacle, while they prioritized her parents. James didn't defend me. He just stood there. Tears soaked my pillow, but this time they fueled a quiet vow. Their cruelty would no longer break me. I'd show them what happens when kindness runs dry. A few days later, as my strength slowly returned, a jolt of realization hit me. This month's mortgage payment. I'd always sent the money to James, trusting him to handle it. I dialed his number, the phone ringing endlessly before his flat, weary voice answered, "Yeah, what is it?" Steeling myself, I asked, "James, did you pay the mortgage this month?" A pause, then a guilty, half-hearted reply, "I forgot." Work's been insane. No time. No apology, just excuses, as if my question was an imposition. Swallowing my rising anger, I said, "I'm still recovering and my account's tight. Can we delay the payment until next month? I'll cover it then." Silence. Then James snapped, "Mom, you promised you'd handle the mortgage." "You can't back out now. We're tight too. This makes it harder for everyone." Before I could respond, Sophie's voice shrieked through the phone, piercing like a knife. "Maggie, you said you'd pay the loan. Now you're bailing. We've got a kid, tuition, summer camp, art classes. You want to screw us over?" My body trembled with rage, but my voice cracked with defiance. "Where were you when I was in the hospital, lying about a business trip while you partied for your parents? I'm healing, asking for a little grace, and this is what I get?" The bitterness of a decade poured out. Every missed mortgage payment I'd covered, my drained retirement savings funneled into their lives. "Do you have any decency left?" Then came Sophie's laugh, cold and venomous, slicing through the line like shattering ice. "You gave us money. So what? Isn't that your job? Your money's James's money. He's your son. When you're gone, it's ours anyway. Why make a fuss?" Her words branded my heart, obliterating any lingering hope they cared. My knees buckled, but I gripped the wall, a chilling clarity igniting within me. I was done. Done being their ATM, their doormat. My voice turned steel. "Fine. From today, I'm done paying for your house. Not another penny. I've tracked every dollar. Mortgage, down payment, renovations. You owe me, and I'll take it back, even if it means fighting for every chair." Silence, then James's nervous stammer. "Mom, you're upset. You don't mean this." Sophie's voice exploded. "Are you insane? You volunteered. What, we live on the street now?" I laughed, bitter and low. "I'm not your fool anymore." I hung up, wiping a final tear, and retrieved my leather notebook, my ledger of every transaction, receipt, and unanswered hospital text, now my arsenal. The next morning, I knocked on Patricia Johnson's door. My sharp-witted neighbour, a retired nurse, nearly hurled her coffee mug when I told her. "Maggie, you've been too damn nice," she snapped. "They don't deserve you, or a cent in your will." Her fury bolstered me. "Pat, I thought peace meant silence, but now I see, sometimes family isn't family." She grabbed her keys. "Let's go. Legal aid." At the community centre's legal office, we met Will, a young attorney with quiet authority. He listened intently as I laid out the betrayal, flipping through my documents. Pat, arms crossed, demanded, "Does this look like family?" Will adjusted his glasses. "Ms. Walker, your down payment and consistent transfers give you leverage to claim repayment. You're not obligated to continue mortgage payments without a contract. Their lies during your hospitalization strengthen your moral case in mediation or court." Relief flooded me, the weight on my chest cracking open. James called later. his tone suddenly soft. "Mum, we're sorry, we went too far. We should have been there." Sophie's voice cut in, shrill and unhinged. "Maggie, you're suing us? I'll tell everyone. James's boss, his co-workers, how you're destroying your son. You'll be alone, sick, broke." James whispered, "We're family, Mum." "Can't we avoid this?" But their words were hollow. I replied coldly, "Sophie, your threats don't scare me." "James, your tears don't move me. What's mine, I'm taking back. See you in court." I blocked their numbers, no hesitation. Back at Will's office, his fingers flew across the keyboard, drafting my claim. For the first time, I felt not just free, but unstoppable. For the first time, I felt not just free, but unstoppable. Will's keystrokes echoed like a gavel sealing the end of their entitlement. The demand letter was surgical, itemizing the down payment, every transfer, renovation costs, and a cessation of mortgage payments, with a pointed addendum detailing their abandonment during my hospitalization. It wasn't just a letter, it was a reckoning, crafted to cut deep in any courtroom. "Maggie, it's been sent," Will said, his voice steady. My hands trembled slightly, but my heart was calm. "Thank you," I whispered, gazing out at the grey sky, feeling the storm within me begin to lift. 3 days later, as dusk fell, a violent pounding shook my door. Through the peephole, I saw Sophie's parents, Mary and Robert. Mary's face was crimson, eyes bulging, already shouting. Robert stood rigid, his glare heavy with judgment. I opened the door, meeting their fury head on. "Maggie!" Mary's voice rattled the hinges. "You're 60, trying to ruin my daughter's marriage?" Robert loomed closer, his tone menacing. "We respected you as James's mother, but this is sabotage." I laughed, sharp and humorless. "Sabotage? Who drained my savings for their house? Who left me alone in a hospital bed while you celebrated?" Mary's face flickered, but she rallied, voice shrill. "You're his mother. It's your duty. Our daughter's a blessing to your family, and now you're petty." Robert nodded. "Kids make mistakes. Be the bigger person." My voice turned icy. "Bigger person? Where was your daughter when I couldn't lift a glass of water? The letter's sent. Talk to my lawyer." I slammed the door on their screams, their threats fading into silence. Soon, my phone buzzed relentlessly. Family group chats exploded with Sophie's sob story. Photos of her, tearful and staged, captioned, "She's suing us over a mortgage she promised to pay. She's destroying our family." James chimed in, spineless. "Mum, Mary got emotional. Let's talk, we're family." Cousins and aunts I hadn't seen in years piled on. "Maggie, don't embarrass us. They're just kids." Each message was a needle, but I felt only cold resolve. I muted the chats, left the groups. Let them spin their lies. I'd show the truth. Then another pounding. Not Mary, but Lana, Dawn, Victoria, and my neighbours, faces blazing with fury. "Sophie posted in the building's chat, calling you a crazy old woman trying to scam her." Lana fumed. "She sent it to the wrong group," Victoria added. "We're calling the police. Defamation," declared. My throat tightened. These near strangers stood as my shield. "Thank you," I choked out. Lana handed me a draft support letter, words a testament to my kindness, their outrage my armour. Tears fell, not of pain, but of gratitude. In court, Will's precision dismantled their defence. My records, receipts, screenshots, neighbour testimonies, buried Sophie's lies. The judge's voice was clear. "The defendant's misconduct is evident. The plaintiff's funds must be repaid in full." Outside, my neighbours cheered, waving her cane. "We knew you'd win." I smiled, the weight gone. Months later, I sold their house, moved to a quiet town, and taught crafts at a senior centre. A card from Victoria arrived, her words, "We're proud of you," warming my soul. Sunlight streamed through my window, and for the first time I felt free. I wasn't just a used mother, I was Maggie, a woman who said no, who fought, and who won. That victory was mine alone.